In June last year, Judge Richard Goldstone and his team put on an eminently reasonable face when they arrived in Gaza.
We've come here to see, we've come here to learn, we've come here to talk to people in all walks of life.
But Desmond Travers, seen here standing next to Judge Goldstone, had already made up his mind. As recently revealed by the Jerusalem Centre for Public Affairs, the former colonel in the Irish Army was determined to convict Israel from the outset. Travers asked a group of Palestinian psychologists how Israeli soldiers could deliberately kill Palestinian children in front of their parents. The fact that such atrocities were never committed didn't stop the Goldstone report from accusing Israel of waging war on Palestinian civilians. Travers accused Israel of using unmanned aerial vehicles to target houses that were, he said, packed with people. In fact, the reverse was true. Israel did use unmanned aerial vehicles to confirm that civilians had evacuated houses in order to minimize innocent deaths. Travers said that something like 2 rockets fell on Israel in the month before Operation Cast Lead. The truth? There were 361 rockets fired by Hamas at Israel in December 2008. Travers insisted that there was no proof of Hamas using mosques to store weapons. But Hamas did just that in the mosque you see here and in dozens of other mosques. Goldstone's commission was made up of just 4 people, including Travers, and all of them shared his jaundiced view of Israel. This inbuilt bias didn't deter some elements of the media from portraying Goldstone as beyond reproach. Using anonymous sources, The Independent asserted that Israel rewrote the rules of war in Gaza, another outlandish claim from a newspaper which, in 2002, brought you the myth of a massacre by Israeli troops in the West Bank city of Jenin. The figures tell a different story. Of the approximately 1,200 Palestinians killed during Operation Cast Lead, at least 60% were combatants. Between 65 and 75% of those killed were men of military age, a fact which flatly contradicts Goldstone's judgment that Israel was indiscriminately targeting civilians. And if you compare Gaza with other anti-terrorist operations, Israel's restraint seems even more remarkable. When American troops attacked insurgents in the Iraqi city of Fallujah in 2004, 6,000 people died, well over half of them civilians. Despite being thoroughly discredited, the Goldstone report remains alive. It's being actively promoted in the European Parliament, and there's still a possibility that it will be brought before the UN Security Council. So here's a reality check. What starts with Israel won't end with it. As long as Goldstone casts its shadow, it's the democracies fighting terrorism who will be compromised, while the terrorists themselves hide among civilians in the name of human rights.